Yeah, I think what I'm mostly going to do is try to frame
Hmm.
this book
Okay.
rather than get into any sort of march through its content. I just think that is more useful myself for this
Agreed.
book. And a lot of Revelation teaching here is about trying to just reframe things a little bit so that it's not quite so yuck. My name's Dr. Tommy Givens, and I'm a professor of New Testament here at Fuller Theological Seminary. I want to talk to you about perhaps the most troubling book in the New Testament, the last book of the New Testament called Apocalypse or Revelation, in the way that we translate that to English. One of the most important things to keep in mind about the book of Revelation is the kind of book that it is, the kind of literature that it is. It is part of a genre or family of literature from the ancient world, from the time of Jesus and just a little bit before, as well as a little bit after, known as apocalyptic. And if we ignore that kind of literature, then we will be apt to interpret Revelation in a way that is oblivious to what would be understood and assumed in its early days when it was composed and then performed in Christian congregations. Apocalyptic literature is not, in fact, about end of the world scenarios as we commonly conceive of them. Instead, Jewish apocalyptic literature was concerned primarily with expressing the gravity and the cosmic reach of significant political events of the day, sometimes of the recent past, or on the approaching horizon, the near future. And so all of the imagery of the book of Revelation, all of the drama of the book, the intensity is aimed at capturing the sort of historic and cosmic significance of what people have been living, what they're in the midst of living, and what they can see is coming on the near horizon. The book, of course, itself begins by clarifying that it is a vision. And it is specifically a vision of a figure presented to us as the Son of Man, this figure from Daniel that is identified for us as Jesus the Messiah. And the vision is about the coming to power of this figure who is at once the Lamb who was slain and the Lion of Judah. And it's key in Revelation that despite the paradox of that, that is who Jesus is. He is the Lion only as he is the Lamb. It's only in the way that Jesus gives his life that he is the King of all kings. And so the vision of Jesus's rule unfolds first through a series of letters. Those letters tell you what the vision is for. They tell you what the situations are in these 7 churches in the western part of what we'd now call Asia Minor, how the vision means to address them and to guide them in a time of extreme tension, turmoil, conflict with the Roman Empire, conflict among churches, conflict with fellow Jews, all kinds of difficulty that the vision means to shed light on and to empower people to be able to navigate faithfully, following the pattern of Jesus, who himself is presented to us as the faithful witness. The vision then unfolds in Revelation as the seer being taken to the throne room of heaven and then seeing in a crystal sea that opens before the throne room onto the earth below. And all kinds of drama then unfolds in that heavenly court that then pours out into the earth. So that's what the book of Revelation is about, is a vision of how the drama of heaven is unfolding on the earth. This is not, if we are careful to pay attention to the story, primarily about something that happens at the end of the world. Instead, it is especially about the way that the Lamb is slain, the way that Jesus dies, and the way that the drama of his life unfolds in the subsequent generation with a conflict within his people, and finally their invasion. They're being invaded by the Roman Empire. So this is the vision for people to be able to endure, to be able to overcome oppressive forces that use political power and economic power to undermine and threaten their life. And yet by clinging to this vision of Jesus as the Son of Man, they are empowered to remain faithful, to endure, and to actually observe the power of Jesus overcome the power of imperial rulers that have sought to oppress them and to destroy them. And in the key memory of the people already who are receiving this vision is the story of Jesus as the Lamb who was crucified by this Roman power. And yet, because of the way that he lived and the way that he died, Rome could not make an end of Jesus. He was raised on the third day, and as risen is guiding and empowering the life of people that call out to his name and seek to live the life that he's enabled them to live. That's what the vision is for. And it's a vision that has on its horizon this hope of the kingdom of God coming continuously from heaven into the earth, just as John the Seer has been watching the drama of heaven pour into the earth as the New Jerusalem. That's the vision of God's new reality that is coming into the earth from heaven, that is to guide the people as they fix their gaze upon Jesus and seek to follow him through such tremendous adversity, suffering, and even torture. They're not to cave to fear, but enabled with this hope to persevere. So I hope that as we look at Revelation today, we're not sort of fixating on how to decode these images as somehow picturing something on the future of our life as a kind of end of the world scenario. These images, when they were produced and then performed as a kind of service of worship in the early church, they provide the ability to see the recent past, the present of the people, and what's in their immediate future. Much of what Revelation pictures then, we might think of as historically past to us. The fall and the rise of Jesus, the fall of Jerusalem, and the rising of Jesus's power through the generations to follow even under Roman oppression. But that past is not entirely past to us, because that's the past that has made our present possible. We've inherited the power of Jesus's name and the call to follow him, even under similarly oppressive forces in our own time, forces that use political power and economic power to threaten people, to encourage them to pledge their allegiance to forces that will destroy others and pretend that their needs are more important than needs of other people around the world. And so Revelation, being about something in the past, is also about something in our present and our future, because its images and that past are reverberating into our present and shaping our own hope for the future that Jesus makes possible in our life.